I was recently invited to a 5-day fast with a fellow fasting foodie friend, Karen. And here's the thing, she's done 5-day fast before. I haven't. And she's also a fasting coach. So I took the opportunity to do my first 5-day fast with her. And this is our coaching session before the 5-day fast, where she's getting me ready, giving me her knowledge, and coaching me for my first ever 5-day fast. Enjoy.
All right.
I'm like,
So,
I'm super nervous to do the 5-day fast though.
but I think being nervous means like it's like a next level
Mm-hmm.
excitement. It's like a level up,
Mm-hmm.
like
That's exact. It does feel like that.
yeah. And so I'm a little nervous too. And so I coach alongside two coaches,
Mm-hmm.
and my coach, I should have told you this, encouraged me to do a 7.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, and he was like, does it fit your schedule? And I was like, this is like the only time it does. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, I think I'm gonna do that.
Oh, good for you.
But I was like, it's still we're gonna overlap and we're gonna do everything
Yeah.
together still, but it's never aligned with my schedule ever.
Okay.
So he was like, I don't, and see, like, that's the thing is like, I'm a coach, I coach others, but I still need to be coached. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah. Because there's always like the next thing.
exactly. And so that's when I was like, I remember last year you were like wanting to you're like, maybe if I, and I remembered that. And I was like, I wonder
Mm-hmm.
if she wants to do it, and to do it together is super fun. And
Yes.
I don't know, I just feel like even though there's distance between us, that we can still connect like on this level is really neat.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think that's what makes me like more on the excited side than I don't know that I would do it myself, to be honest, because I did the 100 hour and I felt really good. And I know that. So I have that like in the back of my head that I did that successfully. And I actually remember thinking I should just go 5 days to hit that. But I already had plans, So it was like you start those plans days before. Um, so I know I can do it, but I don't know that I ever would have like taken that step on my own
I know what you mean.
because it feels a little like I keep having this feeling of I'm never gonna eat again. I gotta get all of like what do I want to do beforehand, which sounds super silly, but 5 days sounds like a long time to not eat.
It does. And I think like I've heard you say nuggets before of like
Mm-hmm.
hunger is temporary, you're gonna eat again, but
Yeah.
I think in the preparation, in leaning into it, it can feel like, oh my God, this is gonna feel like I'm never gonna, because we're so used to eating like daily,
Yeah.
like or every other day or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
it feels like a lot. But like I remember like your 100-hour fast, I feel like you said if you didn't have a meal planned, you would have kept
Mm-hmm.
going, and I was like,
Exactly.
you were right there. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what happens at 72. You're like, I can keep going, like,
Yep. And the funny thing is like I know that and I have the comfort like every time I do a 72 hour of I've done it before so I know I can do it and I think that's just the missing piece is like it just feels like you said I'm leveling up and
yeah,
there's just the unknown like well I did feel good at 100 but that was still 20 hours shy of 120 hours. So
right.
I'm very excited to do it with you and to have your expertise and your input um, to help me because
Absolutely.
it feels better. Like I know you coach a lot of people, and I'm really thankful to have your friendship and coaching as I go into this.
Oh, well, I'm really, really thankful for our friendship and our fasting foodie,
Woo.
that we've like developed. I don't know, like I don't even know how long has it been since we've really connected, but it feels
I don't
like
know,
I've been watching your
forever.
videos, for so
Mm-hmm.
long that I knew you before I knew you, you know what I mean? But I agree, like I'm kind of like you where I ripped the band-aid off
Mm-hmm.
when my coaches were like, let's do a 5 day, and they were like, you don't have to, and I was like, okay, like, like I was like, let's do it, and this is like my fourth birthday fast,
I
like
love that.
that's like a 5 day, and
Mm-hmm.
and then I coached Jason's, I think back in December.
Is he
So
doing another one with you?
no, no.
Yeah.
So he was like, I already did one in December,
Yeah.
so, but I just do it for my birth. I just been doing it that I just want to honor my body and my health, my
Yeah.
why,
Yeah.
those things every June. So every
And
birthday.
and I love, for anyone watching that doesn't know, my birthday's on the 16th and yours is the 28th.
Yes.
Okay, so we're doing it in between our two birthdays, which I think is really cool and very
I think it's
special.
I think it's
Like,
really cool. It's like
mm-hmm.
bookending.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's perfect. And then we both get to celebrate our days and have it like around it. I just think that's really fun.
I know. Like I think we both agree that to be a faster is to honor our
Yeah.
bodies, honor our health, and what
Yep.
better way to start a new year? Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I love that. All
Yeah.
your great idea. I'm stealing it from you. So thank you for including me.
Oh, I remember when I watched your 100-hour fast, I was like, oh my gosh, she was right there, like, and 100 hours is a major accomplishment.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I feel like 24 hours is a major accomplishment. So kind of just when you encourage others to like, okay, you've had plenty of reps, maybe try the community fast with us. Like
Yep.
that's a great way to level up. It's just always an opportunity. Maybe it's a 96, maybe it's 4 days, and you just kind of inch your way to the next level up. And there are levels of like diminishing returns
Yeah.
where there are times that it's the what is the phrase, it's not, the juice isn't worth the squeeze or whatever.
Yeah.
And I feel like 72 and 120 is like the sweet spot,
Mm-hmm.
for the cellular detoxification and stem cell rejuvenation. All that stuff happens in between. And I feel like after 5 days, yeah, there's benefits to like autophagy, but I feel like 3 to 5 days, quarterly, annually, whatever you can do,
Yeah.
is a great place to be. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna blame you if this is my new normal every June.
I will take the blame. I will take the blame. I know. And you'll definitely see it in health metrics,
Mm-hmm.
like, I want to say like, oh, I think you've referenced this. Like you always have kind of like a body set point. Your
Mm-hmm.
body likes a certain amount, a certain weight, a certain
Yep,
size,
mine
whatever.
certainly does.
And I think that like the back-to-back 5-day fast that I did like year and then the next year, for whatever reason, it broke me in to a different
Oh,
set point. Yeah.
okay.
So that was interesting. And I'd heard like, like Megan Ramos and a few others had mentioned that that's like a way to break a set point, but
Okay.
it's not like that for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember just kind of toggling with the same five pound fluctuation.
Yep.
And I don't remember maybe 2 years ago I had broke through that set point.
Okay.
It was interesting. So I'd be interested to see what this does for you,
I'm really curious to hear that because ever since like I stopped losing weight, it was like 153 is the number stuck in my head, but I go
Mhm.
down to like as low as 147 to
Mhm.
153, 155, depending on my cycle, really. But like
Right.
that 6 pound range, unless I'm doing something extreme, I stick in that. And then if I do a 3 day fast, of course, I can dip below, but I always end up like right back in there.
Right.
For it's been a little over 3 years. And I'm fine with that because I like kind of the easy approach and I like doing the longer fast. I like the benefits of them. But it would be really interesting to see if that's gonna be like an
I
impact. That'll be
I
interesting.
agree. I think it would be really interesting to see because I think like because we have the glycogen and we
Mm-hmm.
only can lose a certain amount of fat per like full day fast, like
Yeah.
some people it's 3/4 of a pound, sometimes half a pound. And so that's why we always seem to go back to that same fluctuation. But there's just
Okay.
something that I noticed about the 5 day that just kind of suffocated some of that fat
Huh.
to a different set point. So
And that's exciting to me. I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
even beyond like the achievement, like, oh yes, I did this, I feel powerful, I feel good. I'm excited to see like what new results can I find because I had no
Right.
idea.
Right. And like I'm sure when you do like your 72s, like the brain power that you
Mm-hmm.
have and
Oh yeah.
like yeah, it's on like it's on fire. Like you're
Should
just
I pl- should I plan to not sleep? My 72-hour fast, I'm always like, my husband will go to bed and I'm like, see ya. And then I get a lot of work done because I lay in bed, literally my eyes are like this big, full of energy if I don't just know I'm gonna stay up.
right.
So I
Yeah,
can only imagine 5.
there will be I guess every 5-day fast I've done has been unique.
Okay.
And I think you could say that about 72s as
Yeah,
well.
I
Yeah.
do agree.
Some are a breeze, some are not, you know? And so and it also depends on like, are we fighting a little bit of illnesses? You know,
Yeah.
like I've had some sinus stuff going on. So I'm looking forward to suffocating that out, you
Yeah.
know? So because I would go to the doctor and they're like, it's just allergies. And I'm like, really? Like you know, I'm ready to like get some of that inflammation away,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and so I think it also have a couple of bucks on hand, you know, like
Yeah.
and I drink I'm not sure if you take this or a magnesium supplement, but I take magnesium calm at
Okay.
night and I fall asleep like a baby.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
I don't take that, but I'll have to look into it.
Yeah, I think I don't know now. It's been 3 years now. I've drink it and now I got Jason drinking it and he can't go to bed without it. It relaxes your muscles. It
Oh,
just
nice.
really like if you already like if you put your phone away and stuff before and then you drink it and you just kind of relax, you just fall asleep. So I'd be like if you could get your hands on some of that,
Okay.
I would definitely get some. I get mine on Amazon, but they're just two teaspoons right before
Okay.
bed. Yeah.
Awesome. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah. See how that feels.
One question I did have for you that I wanted to ask is, do you, getting into the 5-day fast, are you mindful of what your eating window looks like before you start that? Because I'm not normally super intentional. I mean, I love every eating window, so I like make it one that I'll enjoy. But beyond that, do you prep any certain way for a 5-day fast?
I do. And I do
Okay.
know this about you, and I love that about you too, because you have shared that you just eat what you enjoy. And
Mm-hmm.
what's that phrase?
Eat what
eat
you
what you
want,
want.
add what you need.
Yes. And I love that. I think personally what I do, maybe even a week up to leading into one.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's a requirement. It's just me being me, like just mindfully eating more nutrient dense foods, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
just maybe a little kale with my turkey sandwich or
Right.
whatever, you know, just a little tiny intentionality. And then 1 to 2 days before, I like to go a little lower carb, like
Okay.
intentionally. I'm not like a carb counter, you know,
Yeah.
but intentionally doing that. But I think because you're so experienced as well, you're always glycogen depleted, you're always
You're right.
dipping in and out of ketosis. I don't think it's like the biggest problem for anybody to go into it with whatever they want to eat. I
Yeah.
do prefer like just a higher fat, moderate protein, you know,
Mm-hmm.
fiber filled veggies, you know, eat till satiety kind of window, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just and just like you said, just eat whatever you feel like that's gonna make you satiated.
I
Yeah.
was thinking tomorrow, and I think it actually really fits well with what you're saying, is I'm making butter chicken. And so I'll have paneer, I'll have the chicken. It's
Yeah.
something that I love, but I'm gonna have cauliflower rice. So I'll have lots of the vegetable, I'll have
Awesome.
broccoli, and it will be low carb because I use the cauliflower rice versus rice because I like it and I love cauliflower. And it'll also be like extremely mentally satisfying, like a good salutation to eating.
Yeah.
And then, but it's going to be super high protein too. So that was my thoughts for tomorrow.
I
And
love
it
that
seems like
idea.
it's not too off course.
Yes, I love that idea. Especially to me, to be satiated is like the biggest thing, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, our biggest macronutrient that is satiating is protein and fat,
Yeah.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like going into it like that. And then you've heard everybody have like the transition, you know,
Yeah.
from going into ketosis and then deeper ketosis, in that it just makes it a little smoother, you know.
Right.
So that's kind of like my ideas, and I don't want to make this even harder on myself.
Yeah.
So I pick foods I love, you know, like I
Mm-hmm.
just like just deli meat chopped up in eggs and sauteed
Yum.
with some shallots, you know, something like that. It's so satisfying and rich, you know.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
And like you said, it does make a difference. Although I don't really see a newbie that's not metabolically flexible starting with a 5-day fast, but it does make a difference because we are able to switch to burning fat.
Right.
We get into ketosis, we know that about ourselves. And so my body knows like, hey, we ran out of like food for fuel. It's easy for me to burn fat for fuel. And I do think that makes a difference. And we even had someone like, hey, can we join the 5-day fast? And I think
Oh,
we made a good decision to just kind of keep it private because I don't want to encourage anyone that's not physically ready to do that because it
agree.
could be really hard if you don't have a strong fasting muscle or you're not metabolically flexible.
I
Or
agree.
even it could be hard mentally to be like, hey, I want to do this with them. I'm excited. And then you're just not ready for it. That could be pretty mentally hard.
I
And it
agree.
could really set you back on your fasting journey. So I do agree that it's easier for us to do it because we've been fasting so long.
Exactly. We have that fasting muscle. That's why
Mm-hmm.
I said what I said. I was You literally could eat whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
You would not find that transition difficult, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree. I think, and there's a lot of questions that can come up for a newbie in a 5-day fast, you know,
Yeah.
like just like, why is my glucose so low? You know, because the glucose went off, like it went, like the alarm went off for too low,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and really that's a good sign, you know.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with you. Yeah.
One thing I wanted to ask you is you asked me if I have a blood pressure monitor, which I've never checked as I'm doing fasting. The three things that we're going to track together, I think, ketones.
Yes.
You mentioned the blood pressure, so I'm looking for more information on that. And then I have my CGM on right here. Can you share with me like what you track throughout the 5-day fast? And I'm going to try to mirror it.
Yeah, so I probably go above and beyond where I should, but I'm just so intrigued, you
And we're
know.
data people.
You know.
Yeah.
And so I actually do keep like a journal
Hmm.
of like my morning, how my sleep went, how many
Okay.
hours of sleep, I what kind of movement did I get that day, you know.
Okay.
I probably stay away from strength training more so after day 2 to 3. I've gotten away with day 2, but day 3 I was like, no.
Yeah.
I I think I remember was it your 100-hour fast? You were trying to go those dunes, and I was like,
Yes.
oh my god, Jackie.
Well, it was very circumstantial. We met friends that live in Massachusetts that were visiting at the Warren Sand Dunes, giant dunes here in Michigan. I
Okay.
tried climbing it one time and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to just sit and wait for you guys because that was the only time I did not feel really good. I was like, yep, I just need to not do that level of physical activity because sand dunes, they're hard to climb.
Oh yeah, that is a hard workout. That's
It
a hard.
was, yeah, too hard.
Yeah. So I also do the same kind of thing at the end of the day, like how did today go?
Yeah.
You know, in my inner thoughts, like how many steps did I do? You know, stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. But yes, I do track glucose. I like to nerd out, so I do like, and I know this, like it can be skewed in the morning versus
Yeah.
the noon time versus night, but I still like to see it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do track glucose, ketones. Blood pressure is more so just to make sure we're not dipping too low. You know,
Okay.
we just want, as everything is shutting down, if you will, like our
Yeah.
digestion's resting, your heart rate's resting a little bit. It's not working too hard, you know. And that's why I think movement does help is to just keep flexing your heart. It's a muscle
Yeah, keep
as
everything
well.
moving.
Because sometimes, we'll hear like somebody's feeling a little faintish, and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only reason I brought it up. It's not really a requirement, but because you are maintaining and you are, pretty fit, I think like it wouldn't be a bad idea just to
Yeah.
keep an eye, just to make sure nothing's too low. Because
So what would you
sometimes
do if you notice it low? Like I don't even know what I would honestly what I do because I've never tracked it.
I would definitely, and of course this is not medical advice, but like I would definitely have more salt.
Okay. The
And
electrolytes type thing.
yes,
Okay.
definitely like maybe, like daily we're supposed to have 1 to 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Some days we have two. Some days
Yeah.
we have 2.5, And so I would just listen to your body. Like you're very in tuned with your body,
Mm-hmm.
and if you start to feel like that feels a little off, start checking things,
Yeah.
because ketones, I think you've had ketones around 7 before.
Yeah,
Is
pretty
that
close.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that's fine, pretty high, but I think like the risk of like ketoacidosis and stuff is not
Mm-hmm.
really for fasters like us, but we do want to make sure we have an eye on that,
Right.
and like glucose, like I think I've gotten to maybe 49. I feel like yours was pretty low too.
I think, yeah, I've gotten definitely in the low 50s. I'm not sure, but I know a lot of times when in my down days, I read too low or
Yeah,
low, but it's very normal for me. So, and I
right.
feel really good. So I understand it from a personal standpoint, but I am very curious on the 5-day fast. I just put this new one on today, so it'll be all
Yeah.
calibrated and ready. But I'm curious
Yay.
to see what it'll get.
Yes, yes. It's only when you feel off that you
Mm-hmm.
may have to have a backup plan.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's like a bite of avocado, sometimes that's bone broth. I do want to challenge you to trying the mushroom bone broth, even just a tablespoon. You like
Yeah.
challenges.
I do like challenges. I once tried bone broth because so many people suggested it to me, and I took a video of me trying it because it was going to be a short. And only one person in the world saw it, my best friend, Gentry, and she said she saved it on her phone because it's the funniest video she's ever seen.
Oh my
I
gosh.
expected chicken broth, and I know this sounds stupid. It does not. I
Well,
don't. I don't know if I could do it.
uh,
I do like challenges. I don't know.
well,
What's a mushroom bone broth?
there's one bone broth that I like, and I know you like. Wait a minute. Do you like mushrooms? No, I think that's where we clashed. I
But
was
a
like,
lot of it's like visual and texture for me. So like broth, I don't care if things are mushroom flavor. If that makes sense, like I'll eat truffle oil.
okay, okay,
Do you know what I'm
okay.
saying? They just look so gross to me, kind of like fish. Visually, is just a no.
Which, by the way, I can't believe you ate that fish.
Kudos to me. I
Yes,
was putting myself out there,
that's amazing. But
and it was
there's
delicious.
it. Jason was like, I need to try that. But
Come to
there's this.
Kalamazoo.
We will. We
I'll
definitely
treat you.
will.
Okay.
There's this mushroom chicken broth and turmeric chicken broth, and they're both really yummy. And I know it sounds strange. I actually too thought it was like I'm gonna hate this, and
Yeah.
I now I keep it in my cupboard. Like
Okay.
yeah. And so those kind of things, like fasting snacks, they call them.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
something to, and also what I like to try first is exercise, walk,
Oh, yeah.
something, because that's a hormetic stress. It's a good
Yeah.
stress. It's gonna
Mm-hmm.
make your heart rate and your glucose a little higher. So that's just like kind of like a backup thing, but I don't suspect that will happen. I just want you to know that
I
that's,
appreciate that.
yeah, just as a, sometimes I think Jason, his was really low one time, and he had like a fourth of an avocado, and it went right back up to 60. It was fine.
Okay. Good to
Yeah.
know. And I like hearing like you don't have to be so legalistic. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
people are like, I'm doing the 5-day fast, or not. If I can't do it, I can't do it. Or, they feel like a quarter of an avocado is just giving up. But it doesn't have to be
Right.
that way.
It does not. It does not. And sometimes, like, I like to go through like a list where, okay, let me try the exercise.
Yeah.
Let me try resting. Like just doing something that does not require your brain. Put on Netflix, like
Yeah.
just to kind of cruise through the bleh, like.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to have that on backup too, like just in case it's too low and you feel weird, get a little salt in you,
Yeah.
salt with avocado, salt, water, yeah.
And I know I told you that I was teetering on flavored element or unflavored. I am gonna do the unflavored.
Okay.
I'm going fully as best as I can, if I can do it.
Right.
I'm gonna do the unflavored just because I want as much benefit as possible. I want to be in the clean fasting state. So it's a little sad because I love the flavors so much, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing this to taste. Like, if I was doing it to taste, I'd just have an eating window.
I know. But let me do the flip side here.
Okay.
I've done a couple of 3 to 5 day fasts with it, and it not affect me. And I still had great ketones, great glucose levels, because I think our bodies don't really react to the stevia or the flavor like we were when we were metabolically inflexible.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I would say, like, either way, you would be doing your body great,
The way
But
I'm thinking of it is, if I do it without, then the next time, see, I'm already planning forward, I'll do it with, and I can compare. Because
yes.
I do, so in March, I did diet beverages and flavored element, and I found it much harder. But then people said that they had a problem with like diet pops, which I love. I do love diet pops, but I found it a lot easier to just remove those.
Right.
And so I actually really found it just as easy to fast. So I'd be curious to do a 5-day with and without. And so I was like, I'll get the without done first. And then next time I do a 5-day, I could do it with and just compare the two.
I think that's a great plan. I think that's because you could really, really see the benefit of, well, you can maximize your benefits by doing, but I do want to say, like, I've seen it both ways and it be successful. So it's like, whatever road you choose, it's a great road,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yay. I was trying to think if there was anything, yeah. Oh, the other thing with it, when it comes to when I was journaling, I would, and this was early on in my journey, I would actually like, did I have any cravings? Stuff like that. Like, why did that happen? And usually it was around stress or grief or tiredness, have you heard that HALT, like hunger, anger, lonely, tired. Like, it's like, it's like an acronym for feelings that we have that are connected to emotional eating.
Okay.
Yeah. And it usually it's around those emotions, So sometimes I'll note that, like, oh my gosh, like I wanted to break my fast because, and it could be quite therapeutic,
I'm gonna have to. My therapist wants me to journal, and every time I'm like, I'm not very good at journaling. I don't know why. It literally is like a mental block to me. I wish I could know why. I admire journaling, but every time I try to do it, it's hard for me. But I like that idea of, like, because even when I'm vlogging to share with people, it's like, wait, what? How did I feel? If I don't record it in the moment, it's hard for me sometimes to remember. Which is why a lot of times I just pull out my camera. I guess it's a form of journaling almost, but I like that idea to kind of note how I'm feeling or what made me want to break a fast. I do think 4 years in, I'm much better at emotional eating, and it still occurs. It just occurs at a different time. Like, maybe I'll wait a little later to do it.
I know.
We'll save that comfort for later, but
the
delay.
The delay. I know. And I think it's like, because I started this journey after my father passed away, it was
Yeah.
very therapeutic because I was feeding emotions with food.
Yes.
And it was just like, so every time I had a wall, I was like, this is where I would reach for food,
Yeah.
like every time. And it was just so enlightening, just to
Okay.
see like, oh my gosh, is that a real craving, or is that because I'm stressed, or is that because,
I'm gonna challenge myself to journal to be like Karen.
well,
But
I really do think it's therapeutic. A
yeah.
lot of our clients are just, it's like therapy. This 5-day
Yeah.
fast is like therapy. Yeah.
I'm actually excited because I'll see my therapist on Tuesday. Maybe I'll share extra with her that day. She'll be like, "What is
Yes.
going on with you?"
Yeah.
Um, even I know like I've had a huge lifestyle shift, but it's not like completely healed. But even as you mentioned with your father passing before you were faster, my daughter's had 12 surgeries, and I
Really?
knew I would always gain weight in her recoveries because it was a very stressful emotional time, and I always gained
Yeah.
weight because my focus was so much other places that food was a comfort. And I don't have
Absolutely.
that anymore even as a faster, which I'm really grateful for that, but I know it's more like, oh, I can't do that now. I'll do it later. And it's not always, but you know what I'm saying? So it'll
Right.
be interesting to track. I will try my best to journal with you.
I think there's a lot that these kind of fasts that we can learn about ourselves in the make, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, we can just, there's a lot going on in between the ears, and we know things. And I like that if then planning, like, if
Yeah.
I'm saying this, I have to change the narrative, because I
Yeah.
I can be that way as well. I haven't quite healed my emotional eating,
Yeah.
and so, like, if I feel this way, well, I'm gonna have a cup of fruit before I go and get my ice cream. That's like my
Right.
non-negotiable. And so I
Yep.
had to change that narrative throughout the years to really heal my relationship with food. And like, one really, really strong phrase that Jason said to me was, I'm so sorry that food was the only thing that comforted you. And I was like,
Oh.
oh my God. Like, I was just, and it's true. Like it shouldn't be food.
Right.
It shouldn't be. It should be my journal. It should be my therapist. It should be me talking to my friends, like
Right.
stuff like that. And I was just like, oh my God, when you say it like that. And he was saying it just like, I'm so sorry. Like, he just wants to hug me. In my
Oh.
brain, I was like, like, it was just
Yeah.
pivotal.
That
Yeah,
made honestly gave me some teary eyes.
I know. And it's just, I guess I've been that way since I was young,
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
had a cousin who I love very much, but this was before I was a pastor. She said, my grandpa, so we have a same grandpa, but this is her other grandpa, like on her mother's side, always says, you eat to live, you don't live to eat. But when he told me that, I thought Jackie and Jesse, which is my brother, they live
Yeah.
to eat, which was, we were like teens at the time, and I didn't take offense to it, but I was like, I guess I sometimes do because we'd go to family events and it was like that was my joy, like all the food, and I
Right.
still am that way, like
Me too.
100%, but it
Me
doesn't have to be like my comfort and my solace and my way to
Yeah.
grieve and my way to do like everything.
Yes. Yes. And I think there's time for it, and there's
Mhm.
time that maybe, like, okay, what am I not dealing with?
Yeah.
Like, I have to like flip the therapist hat on, or like, what are we not thinking about today, Kieran?
Right.
Like,
And
yeah.
you
So
like you said, you can lean into it sometimes. Like I still love to do it celebration. Like it is fun to celebrate and have fun food around, but maybe it doesn't have to be my comfort. Maybe it doesn't have to be the way that I address sadness or loneliness. And, I can lean into healthier things like walking or seeing a friend or starting therapy.
exactly, exactly. I think one thing I've learned from being an IFer is, building memories is more important than consuming food,
Yep.
and trying new adventures. Like,
Yeah.
I put my effort, my time, my money more into that, making memories and adventures, than I do with food anymore. And
Right.
that
Mhm.
brings me joy. It's not like the focal point of everything.
Yeah.
It's a nice little in addition, you
I
know?
love that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yay.
I'm so excited to do it. This makes me like infinitely more excited to do our 5-day fast.
No, me
Um,
too.
do you want to do at all? And this is totally up to you. Do you want to do like a regular check-in daily of like, here's my ketones, here's this, like send it back
Yeah,
and forth, share? I'd be happy to if there's
I'd love to. I'd love to do that. Yeah.
awesome. Like
Yay.
morning and night. Would that work or
Yeah, that would be perfect. It's
okay.
just, I think it's just perfect and a nice little check in the morning,
Yeah.
check in at night. Yeah. See how was our sleep? You know, was
Yes.
it a stressful day? Yeah.
I would love that. And
Yeah.
I think it would be fun, even if people are watching this 3 years down the line, to feel like they're doing it with us. You know, if they're
Yeah.
embarking, they could have our set points as theirs. They could have us
Right.
as the friends that are with them. And I know, like, I don't have anyone that's as I have fasters in my life. My parents do it, but no one does like the 3-day, the 5-day,
Right.
or as extravagant or excited as I am. It's fun to have people in your life that get it or get enthused. So
I
I
agree.
love that you're in this with me, and I love that maybe even 3 years from now, 5 years, 2 years, whatever, we could do this with other people watching the video right now. So if that's you, we see you.
I know. We're cheering
Isn't
you
that fun?
on. We are cheering you on. You got this.
Yeah.
And I do want to also preface that if you don't feel well at any point during your fast, you break it.
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
certainly not medical professionals, and
Yes.
I can't speak for you, but my primary care physician knows I fast. She's checked my labs. She has seen me pre-fasting and much healthier as a faster. So like
Yeah.
I do have that medical piece locked in for myself. I can only
Right.
lock it in for myself,
Right.
but we have that like check before we are embarking on this. And I think that's really important.
I agree. I agree. You have
Yeah.
to have that due diligence for yourself to make
Mhm.
sure that you're capable to do this. Even
Yeah.
if we're mentally ready, we have to make
Yeah.
sure our bodies are too.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Oh, well, I can't
Yay.
wait. We start tomorrow, and I'm gonna have the butter chicken, focusing on paneer chicken, a real creamy, buttery, high-fat sauce, super
Yeah.
delicious. I'm so excited. Do you know what you're gonna kick off your fast with? What your last meal? That's what it feels like to me is gonna
I
be.
know. I say the same thing. I'm like, this is my last meal. Yeah. It's usually like avocado with hemp seeds and pumpkin seeds.
Yum. Oh,
And
sounds so good.
and you know, it's crazy. It's like my last meal is usually like similar to my first meal. You know,
Yeah.
I've been really on this like deli meat chopped up with onion egg scramble
Okay.
with Havarti cheese kick
Oh,
lately.
Havarti. I love Havarti.
Yes, I've been on a kick. So that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And my mom makes this delicious okra. And
Oh,
it's like
yummy.
garlic and onion, and she cooks it a little different. Like I know you and I like the air fried okra,
Mm-hmm.
but she does it where it like kind of cooks down.
Oh, yummy.
Yeah, and a little bit of pureed pumpkin. I know it sounds like a hodgepodge, but I'm just
I'm
kind
a
of
food mixer, so I'm all about the combos. You're not
yeah.
gonna lose me.
I'm just striving for nutrients, you know,
Yeah.
and fiber, and then like maybe like 6 or 7 strawberries, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yummy. Oh,
yeah,
well, I'm excited.
yay! And we'll connect again maybe for how to break your fast, maybe.
Absolutely. I would
Yeah,
love that.
awesome.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you giving
You.
me your expertise and guidance. I do feel I was nervous. I'm still a little nervous to do it because I've never done it before. That's how I feel about every new endeavor. But you
Yeah,
make me feel so much more excited, especially that we're doing it together. And I can't believe 7 days for you.
I'm so excited. Like I think the level up is loading, and we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
be fasting ninjas.
We are.
Yeah, I know.
Now that you've seen all the advice Karen gives me, if you want to see me actually doing the 5-day fast, once that video is live, you can see it right here and see all the details. Did I do it? Did I complete it? How did it go? Right here. Thank you so much for watching. Ciao, down and ciao.